And welcome into the Wednesday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you. We are presented by Green Ventures Landscaping for homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. And let's all take time together to welcome Joe Rexrode back to the great state of Tennessee. Joe Rexrode, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to finally be back. Let me tell you, 2 weeks in a row, man. 2 weeks in a row.
It's a long time.
Long time. A lot of miles, a lot of food.
No gout.
No gout. Not much
win.
beer. Not much beer.
How was the diet on the road? It's tricky, isn't it? Like road tripping and finding good stuff.
And there's places too. Like there's definitely in Indy. There's some awesome places you gotta hit. I didn't do the shrimp cocktail. Did the steak. Shapiro's Deli, man. That Reuben. Stuff like that. But yeah, then you're like up late, and then you're gonna eat whatever the hell's in front of you. So
sure,
there's that too. So yeah, might have put a couple pounds on there last couple weeks. That's okay.
That's just because
back in the routine.
Nobody would answer the phone calls in the Uber. If you'd played basketball, you'd have been fine.
Yeah, and that day I did go in the gym and do a real hard workout to replace it, but that's not like playing like 2 hours of basketball. 2 hours of basketball is like, man, that's some calorie burn, man.
Sure is. Ain't no doubt.
Missed
Welcome back to town.
Thanks.
Welcome back to town. Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Welcome back, Joe. Doing just fine, thanks. Nice weather out there, hanging out with the fam. Nice outside, doing some afternoon stuff, and watching some hockey a little bit last night. It made it through the first period. But, yeah. Happy Wednesday, folks.
Yeah, we got a lot going on the show today. It's an enormous win for the Predators last night. We're going to get into that throughout the first hour today on the show. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us in the second half of the program, and we will get into all things Tennessee Titans with him, so looking forward to that. But that is where we start today. Preds get it done, 5-0, the final score last night against the Anaheim Ducks. Joe, I said it heading into the game, that's a must-win for the Predators last night, and they delivered. And specifically, obviously you score 5 goals. You're good with that offensive output pretty much every night. Onanen, awesome last night, particularly in the first half of the game. Anaheim, really throughout the game, Anaheim, they outshot them 43-25. So Anaheim brought it last night, and particularly early in the game, Onanen had to make some huge saves, some grade A chances that Anaheim had, and he came up, he made the save. And not in every case, but in a lot of cases, he didn't leave any rebounds. Like, he just swallowed the puck. And that's when, I was talking with Stamkos about this a couple of weeks ago. He's like, that's when you kind of know your goalie is on, is when the puck is just hitting them and it just disappears. Like, there's no rebound going. And, he had to make a couple of saves on a rebound last night, but a lot of chances where I thought there could have been some rebounds that he just swallowed up. And just a big deal. That's a huge moment for your backup goalie to step into last night for a game that you just absolutely have to have, and he does it. And that's the first shutout they've gotten all year, a 43 save performance. I don't know that I can really oversell how good of a job he did last night. It was really good.
So, I hate to just come back and immediately get into hot takery, but do you consider maybe another start for him down the stretch here that maybe traditionally you wouldn't have, because Saros has enough rest to make these starts?
I'll put it to you this way. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I would not be afraid of another Justus Onanen start. Now, from a scheduling standpoint, it would make sense for Saros to get the rest of them. He's your top guy. There are no more back-to-backs. But, look, I said it heading into the game last night, and then he plays the best game he's played as a Predator last night. He's played well lately. Like, Onanen has played really well for you lately. And that last night was really, really good. So, yes, I would probably consider that at some point down the stretch here. Look, it's more complicated than save percentage. So I think we need to remember that in this discussion.
Sure.
Save percentage is not meaningless. Like, it does mean something. But on the season now, He does have a 904 save percentage, and Saros is at 895. So something to keep in mind there.
Yeah. Well, and I think maybe, to me, it's like if there's and by the way, I'm looking at Money Pocket, GSAE, and Annunen is, he's 1.6 above, and I'm actually looking for Saros. Saros is definitely below somewhere. Yeah, he's 9.2 below, 83rd in the league this year in goals saved above expected. So, like if Saros struggles next time out, then I think you think about it the next game.
I think you think about it. Yeah. I mean, look, if you're Andrew Burnett, he just made 43 saves. So there is that too. And now you've gotten Saros a couple of days of rest. By the way, I mean, it's just I don't even need to say they're big games anymore because we all understand that. But you got Utah coming up. So that's a game that's obviously very important. The playoff odds, you actually technically, depending on where you look, but I'm looking at Money Puck, you jumped LA last night on the playoff odds. You're at 43.2%. They're at 43%. So, I mean, look, the 0.2%, you're dead even with LA when it comes to the playoff odds.
Point up, and they have a game in hand.
Exactly. So, if you can get, by the way, if you beat Utah, you're 2 points back at Utah. Now, they got a game in hand on you, but you are 4 points back of Utah for wild card 1 right now, too. Now, the reward for that probably doesn't look as good as it was looking because Edmonton looks like they may go on and win the Pacific Division. So, I mean, you're probably at this point, if you're the Predators, taking on either Colorado or Edmonton in the first round. So you get either the Avalanche, who've been a wagon, or you get Connor McDavid and probably, I guess, Leon Draisaitl if he's coming back for the first round of the playoffs. So pick your poison on that one. But I'm just saying, like Utah, you're going head-to-head with them coming up tomorrow. And if you win that game, you're 2 points back of them. So another massive game on that front. Like, I'd be surprised after, a 43 save performance if Saros didn't go tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, yeah. I'd be shocked.
Annunen spilled it last night, and he was really, really good. But to your point, like, if it gets shaky with Saros in tomorrow's game, maybe on Saturday I'm looking and I'm saying, you know what? Throw him out there and throw Annunen out there and let's see what happens. Let's go. Yeah. I'm not saying they've got some goaltending controversy or anything, because when you have the contract that Saros has, he's going to be your starting goalie, as we've talked about.
No doubt.
Annunen has played really well, and I just think that's a huge moment for your backup goaltender last night to come in and step up the way that he did.
Yeah, it's big time. It's big time, and on that, I would still, as much as it has not gone well at all for them against them, I'd still pick the Oilers over the Avs. I mean, I still think there's more holes in the Oilers, right?
With the Oilers, you can, dump in a clearing attempt and it might go in the net.
Right. Yeah. So I still think that's worth, and look, if you want, when it boils down to it, I guess not that the Avs don't have stars, but I mean, hey, it'd be kind of cool, right, to have playoff games here with Connor McDavid.
Sure. You'd find some way to tackle him or something. Yeah, but it'd be cool.
Maybe that needs to happen.
Maybe so. Just lay the body on McDavid out there. Goals last night from Eric Halla. Philip Forsberg picks up his 38th of the year. Brady Shea with a shorthanded one last night, his 3rd of the year. We mentioned yesterday, Joe, Zach LaRue needing to pick up the offense. Well, he scores last night. So LaRue scores, Svechkov scores. So, it's 3-0 at that point. Then you get goals to kind of stamp it away from 2 of your young guys there. So good stuff on that front. But again, like, the Predators in some ways were kind of holding on a little bit early in that game. And then I thought from the Halla goal on, it started to flip. You get that first goal from Halla, and then just a few minutes later, Forsberg scores on the power play. And then, that's when it kind of felt like the Predators were in control. Now, Annunen still had to make some big saves after that, but really before that, I was like, man, this is going to require like some superhuman effort from the goalie to win a game here. And then you end up at the end of the game looking at the score and it's 5-0. And maybe you look at it and say, well, the goalie's job wasn't that hard tonight. It's like, no, go watch the first part of that game. He had to make some big time saves in that game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you have 43 save night and the other team's carrying the play on the road. Huge game for both. And that's and Redemption's been talking all year about the shutout. When will they ever get a shutout? I mean, this has to be the
Game
latest.
78.
I mean, that's obviously the latest they've ever gotten their first shutout,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Do you know by how much?
I don't. I'm sure Johnny does.
Yeah. Let us know. That's and who knew it would be Big Juice who would get it.
Yeah. That's I mean, again, I don't know that I can oversell how good he was last night in the first part of that game. Like, he just looked really, really good and really, really in control. And now, as you said, you are 1 point up on the LA Kings. You are 3 points up on San Jose. You got San Jose's got 2 games in hand on you. So you got the night off tonight. You're looking around the rest of the league, and you have the Oilers and the Sharks tonight. So you'll be rooting for Edmonton tonight to take down San Jose, keep them at bay with those 2 games at hand there. You want to, from a San Jose perspective, like, you would love, as excited as I am about next Monday for, Nashville, San Jose part 3 here in the latter part of the season and how big that game could be. If you're the Predators, you'd love to be going into that game with like a 4-point lead on them, where it's like, yeah, well, great. If we win the game, they're done. And if we lose it, we're still not totally screwed if they beat us in regulation. That'd be a nice situation for the Preds.
Yeah. That would be good. But also, it's kind of fun to have these games that are basically playoff games.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what it may be.
That's what it may be. By the way, the Oilers play San Jose tonight. And then I believe, is it Friday? Maybe Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. They play the Kings. So going to be doing a lot of, if you're a Predators fan, pulling for Connor McDavid to just go nuts in the next couple of days.
I do wonder about Vegas.
Vegas
They're
is right there.
4-0-0 with the coaching change with
Torts has come in
Tortorella, yeah.
He's lit a fire under there.
Vegas just firing their coaches at the end of the season.
Everybody ripped them.
I mean, we didn't even get your thoughts the other day.
Oh, yeah, your boy got fired, too.
Patty Waugh getting fired from the Islanders.
Yeah, it's real sad. feel bad for him.
I thought you'd
go away, man. Go away.
Man, what if the new GM comes in and is like, who I really love out there? Patrick Waugh.
God. I will find.
Will you move?
I will find every bit of audio from when we scored 7 on his ass in Game 7 in 2002 and make sure we play it daily.
God,
what a
can
glorious
you imagine
day that was.
I mean, in an alternate reality, Ian, there could have been a scenario where the Titans could have hired Matt LaFleur this offseason, and the Preds at the end of this could have ended up hiring Patrick Waugh. What would we have done as a show?
Just
content galore.
Just
bring it on.
Can't possibly say anything nice about the local teams anymore.
No, it'd be it.
That's true. We might have a rant every segment.
It would have been totally over at that point. Massive win for the Predators last night. They win 5-0 in Anaheim, and at the moment, they are back in the second wild card spot. We'll take your thoughts on the Predators. 615-737-1025, our phone number. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 the game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on the Predators. They get a 5-0 win last night in Anaheim. They have moved back into a second wild card spot here with the win last night. And then they got Utah coming up tomorrow. So they are 4 points back at Utah, who's in wild card 1 right now. Utah does have the game in hand, but if you can beat them tomorrow in regulation, you'd be 2 points back at that point. So, I was talking playoff odds. If the Predators win against Utah, you go from 43.2% to 61 if you can win it in regulation. So again, every game it's either going up or it's cratering is basically what's happening. If you lose the game, it goes back down to 26.8. So that's what the percentages kind of look like right now. And again, like you got LA right there, San Jose is right there. You're rooting for Edmonton hard this week if you're a Predators fan. And then you got San Jose coming up next Monday. So, I mentioned yesterday LA's schedule. They've got Vancouver twice. So, you really need the Canucks to sneak up and beat them once. Like if the Canucks could sneak up and find a way to beat the Kings once, that would be a pretty large development. They play tomorrow, and then they play again on Tuesday. So tomorrow is in LA. Next Tuesday is in Vancouver.
So counting on the worst team in the league by an 18-point margin.
Yeah. I will say Vancouver did hang 8 on Colorado last week.
Yeah. That's the thing. Weird stuff like that happens. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they get them one time. Worst team by 18-point margin. By the way, the next team after that is the Chicago Blackhawks, just for in case anybody wondered.
That is true.
When are they going to stop sucking?
It's a good question. I don't know.
It's tough, man. It's tough. The Bulls suck. White Sox suck. God, it's really tough, Chicago. Feel bad for you.
By the way, last night Colorado won, so they officially have wrapped up the top seed in the West. So we've known it for a while, but it is now official. Like if you end up as the second wild card team, you will be playing Colorado. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and you've got, by the way, no, that's not true. Canes are 106. I was going to say the Stars are still the second best team in the league, but that is not true anymore.
No, but they are, I think, the third. So
yeah,
it's just amazing the way that is going to work out here.
And John Hines, and Stars wild, man. That's going to be this format that we complain about a lot, which not great, but that will be that's a series.
Well, and I'll tell you, not to look past the Utah game because the Utah game is very important for the Preds. But, coming off of a road trip against a very good team at home on Saturday, like you're playing Minnesota, people have pointed this out, and I think it's fair to point out. And I would probably also include Anaheim in this group. But the Predators have done a really good job, beating up on San Jose, collecting points against LA, We saw them against Montreal, didn't go well. We saw them against Tampa. Even though they played well in that game, you lose the game. And against your better teams in the league, can you find ways to get some points? Well, Minnesota is going to be a huge part of that on Saturday. Very good team, obviously. It's going to be Dallas and Minnesota in the first round, probably for Minnesota having to go on the road, I think. We'll see what happens on that front. But if you're Minnesota, right now you're 2 points back of the Stars. And you need that game on Saturday against the Predators. So you're going to get whatever Minnesota's best is. You're probably going to get it on Saturday. And I am, from a litmus test standpoint, really interested to see how the Predators handle that coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good team with apparently a pretty good coach, I guess,
apparently
right? So coming in here. So, and yeah, obviously, that's home ice there between those two, which matters.
It does. It does.
Doesn't always matter. But
probably doesn't matter as much
you
as
want.
we've kind of made it out.
It's something you want, though,
in the past, but it is something that you want, right? Like it's always about like the game 7, right? Like if you have to go to a game 7, you'd like for that to be at home, right? That's kind of what it boils down to. So
you would. The Preds didn't help the Preds in 2018, but yes,
it did not.
Yeah.
And then,
sorry to bring that up.
That one was over with pretty quickly. Forsberg, like I said earlier, gets goal number 38 last night, so. He is at 38. Stamkos is at 39. My guess is they're both going to end up at 40 at the end of the year, which, as you talked about earlier this week, they're definitely probably going to need to. But, that's happened one other time in franchise history where you've had 2 40-goal scorers. Forever, up until Duchesne and Forsberg both did it a couple of years ago, we were throwing the question out of, good Lord, are the Predators ever going to have a 40-goal scorer? And now you're about to have potentially another year where you've got 2 in the same season. So I guess, maybe they're never going to get a season where it's just 1. You just do 2 or none.
Yeah, 2 or none. That is interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's, Forsberg is, I think, he's technically on one of his heaters now, right? I don't know what it is, like the number in the last few games, but you're kind of counting on a goal from him, just about every night at this point. And when he goes through those stretches, that can carry this team. That has many times.
Well, he's got 8 points in his last 5 games. I think if you pull it
There
up
you
longer
go.
than that, and I'll have to pull up the actual numbers and do some counting here, which I may do over the break. But he's got, he's on a tear right now. He's playing really well. And by the way, I say he's got 8 points in his last 5 games. He's also got 5 goals in his last 5 games. So the goals are coming in bunches for him right now. It's a big shot by him on the power play last night. And look, the power play has picked back up a little bit. They went through a 4-game stretch, through the Devils, the Canadians, the Lightning, where they had some chances on the power play that they didn't come through on, and that ended up costing them. Well, the power play started to pick back up. Even when they haven't scored lately, I think they've looked pretty good on it, but they're also starting to score again on the power play. I mean, look, I guess it was it Monday's game where O'Reilly just laid one out there for Stamkos, and he just destroyed it. Like it was vintage Stamkos. So you got the one-timer going again in the circle for Stamkos, and then last night Forsberg just rips one on the power play. So good to see the power play being a weapon for the Nashville Predators down the stretch.
And Yossi, is kind of piling up the assists lately too.
Yep.
So, which is, oh, sorry, there's my computer making noise.
Sound like a National Geographic little thing going on there.
I think that is what it is.
Hey, there we go. The Gazelle. Oh boy. Preds win last night 5-0. They're back in a wild card spot. We'll take your thoughts on that. Plus, the Predators announced a new television deal yesterday, which I think is a very, very good thing. We'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. 1025 The Game is teamed up with Pella Windows and the Nashville Humane Association for a puppy pet adoption coming up this Friday at Pella at 256 East Main Street in Hendersonville from 4 to 6. For more details, visit thegamenashville.com/events. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. Preds win last night 5-0 against the Anaheim Ducks, and they are back in a playoff spot this morning. Let's head back to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Adam in Portland to the program. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, Robby, man. Yeah, I'm not conditioned for this late night stuff, though, man. Like,
Me either.
My sleep schedule's been jacked up. So I don't know if y'all have covered it, but that backup goalie needs to start more, man. Like, that's the main takeaway, because that was a pretty good team we played last night. I was worried about that game, and he just blistered him, man. He didn't let anything, past him. So I don't know. Maybe we're riding a high, like just a dopamine high when he gets in there. But whatever it is, if we learned anything a few years ago when all of our veterans were hurt and we played the kids all the way to the playoffs, is that you ride what got you there. And Annanen's part of this. So I would almost be every other night with him right now, man. That's just me.
Well, thanks for the call, Adam. I mean, it's, as I said earlier, I wouldn't be afraid of it down the stretch. Like, Saros is probably getting tomorrow against Utah. Then you got 3 games at home after that. Like, if you feel like you need to give Annunen one of those games based on the way that he's played, and it's not just last night's game. Last night's game was the exclamation of the way that he's played. But, I mean, he made 39 saves against Vegas, right, and a few starts ago. He made, 25 saves the start before that against Seattle. With, in those 2 games, he had a 962 save percentage, a 975 save percentage, respectively. Like, even the Jersey game, he gave up 3 in that game. But, he played pretty well in that Jersey game. Like, for the most part, since about December, he's played pretty well when he's gotten his opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, he's of their backup goalie situations. They've had some good, seasons in there and there, but I mean, I'd say he's probably as reliable right now here in this recent stretch as anybody they've had behind Saros.
Recently, for sure, and I didn't think it was going to be that way. Like, when they first brought him over from Colorado, it really didn't go all that well, and his numbers to start this year were terrible. He just had
Everything
terrible
was bad
numbers
early
to start this year. And to your point, I mean, it wasn't just him. Like, it was bad early on, but it seems like he's figured some things out. And look, I mean, you look at him, he's 6'4". He's 6'4", 210 pounds, and he's kind of that prototypical size that we see from goalies now in today's NHL. So, I mean, look, I remember when they Trotz gave him a contract extension this year, and the reaction to that was, really? Like, you're giving an extension to Justus Annunen? Well, right now it looks like a pretty good move, right? Like, he's playing well right now.
There's some Trotz moves that are looking better now.
Yeah, they are. They are.
When do we get back to Trotz? Are you sure?
Is he going to retire?
You sure you don't want to come back?
I mean, until they hire somebody, the door's open. Let's head back to our phone line. Welcome in Brian to the program. Brian, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, boys. First of all, I don't know why we're spending so much time talking about the Preds this morning when Michigan just won the national championship 2 days ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Go Blue, baby. Go Blue.
I went streaking in the quad yesterday, so I didn't get to call you guys and celebrate. But no, just kidding, man. Really wanted to talk about the Preds. I know you guys going to talk about the deal they made now. That's a big city move. I mean, I think you're going to really expand the growth of this fan base. I know most people already are. You are a hockey fan. You are watching the Preds, but I think that move is really going to be big. But I'll let y'all kind of put that out there. But man, being a Preds fan really epitomizes what it means to be a fan, short for fanatics. Because if you look at this team over the last week and a half, it really has taken you through the ringer. They lose a couple in a row. You say, oh, well, the season's over with. Then they go out and score 6 the other night. You say, oh, well, they got a chance. And then they lose to the Kings in a shootout. And then last night they blow out and shut out Anaheim. And you're thinking like, well, maybe this team really is good. You realize that the teams they're playing are not necessarily that good. But you see games like that last night and you say, if this team gets in, you don't know honestly what they can do once they get there. And so for the fans that don't want to make the playoffs, I understand the rationale, but I really don't. I mean, playoff hockey is playoff hockey. You never know what's going to happen. You look at the St. Louis team that won the Cup a few years back. Nobody expected them to do anything. So I think if the Preds get in, I think you just take what you can get. And if they advance, man, that would be a great thing for the city. But that's all I got, fellas. Y'all be good.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Well, here's the other thing that we've probably not talked enough about on his last point there. Let's say they get through this whole thing, Joe, and they get in. Well, that would require them to have played really well down the stretch, right? Like, I mean, they're on this road trip right now, and they've picked up 7 of a possible 8 points, and they're going to close it out. Utah, we'll see what happens on that front, but they're playing well on this road trip. They're going to have to continue to play well and win games if they're going to get in the playoffs. So let's say they do get in. Well, if they get in, my guess is you're going to look back at the schedule and be like, wow, the Predators won 8 of 10 to get in the playoffs, or wow, the Predators won, whatever it is. Like their record heading into playoffs of their last 10, 12 games, if they're going to get in, is going to have to be really good. Like, it's just what it is. So we talk all the time about, hey, you want to be playing well and trending up heading into the playoffs, right? Well, if they're going to get in, they will be. They will be playing well and trending up. Now, I've seen every different example there is in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I've seen teams that were hot that head into the playoffs and just absolutely can't do anything. I've seen teams that were hot that stay hot all the way through and win the championship. I've seen teams that have sucked for 2.5 months that have been such a big lead that get into the playoffs and then all of a sudden they turn it on. So there's no formula that's just foolproof heading into the playoffs. But if you ask me to choose one, I would say, yeah, let's be playing pretty well and feeling good about our game heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as I recall, the Preds 9 years ago weren't playing great, and they were trying to not be the 8th seed, the second wild card, and they failed. And then there was very little momentum or thought that they might do anything. We know what happened. So it gets old when you're talking big picture about a team. This has happened a lot with this team, which is the whole just get in. It's like, no, just getting in because anything can happen. That's not a strategy. That's not good enough. But when you're in this situation, well, it's either you get in or you don't.
Yeah.
And these guys, as we talk about, they are older. Right now, you got your two, your veteran goal scorers are both scoring goals, and you know that they want another crack at it and feel like, the way they're playing right now, that they could cause trouble for somebody. It'd be interesting to see if they could.
Oh, and Brian brought up the TV deal there. This was announced yesterday. If you've been paying attention to the TV stuff with the Preds, FanDuel, which is where they're on right now, is going under. So that, at the end of this season, that was going to be it for that partnership. The Predators announced yesterday that they and Scripps Sports have created a multi-year media rights deal that will bring free over-the-air access to the Predators to fans across Middle Tennessee beginning next year. So, Channel 5, who Scripps owns, Channel 5, they've got this other channel that I guess is going to be launching. That's called The Spot, Nashville 28. And you're going to have games on that for this multi-year deal. And they also announced in this press release yesterday, Joe, that in addition to the local TV broadcast, which is a big deal, that a direct-to-consumer experience where fans can live stream the games throughout local broadcast territory is going to be available as well. And that the streaming part of this, they'll have more details on that soon as they head into the offseason here. So, I mean, to me, the FanDuel part of this, it's become so difficult to, watch games around here because of, you either got to go download this FanDuel app and pay the monthly fee, or, people are cutting the cord all over the place. There's all these different things going on. And we've seen teams like Vegas around the league, and Dallas has done it too, where they're basically just broadcasting their own games and they're just doing it through that way. And I wondered what the Predators would do. Well, to me, like if you're the Predators, if you're any of these NHL teams, the most important thing is your fans have to be able to watch you, right? Like, so if you're going to continue to grow your fan base and you're going to get kids involved. Yeah, it's great if they can go to the game and see it, but not everybody can do that. Like, not everybody can go to these games. So the more people that are able to actually access your product long term, the better off that's going to be. I think this is a really good thing for the Predators.
No, I'm really happy to see this. As much access as possible as you can give people. And it seems like they're going to do some cool stuff with it too, on this new channel. So, no, it's a great thing for people to be able to stream it. So I assume then you have to be in the area then.
Yes.
Yeah. That's yeah, man, you got to give people access to your product. You have to. And obviously, hockey and I think baseball in particular have, had issues, in the recent years. That this is a very good development for the Preds and Preds fans.
Well, and I have seen like the Scripps has owned some of these broadcasts around the league too. Like Tampa, the Scripps does theirs. Vegas, I mentioned. So it's like the team's running it. But like it's been really good. Like Vegas's broadcast is really good. I actually watched Tampa's broadcast last week just to see what it looked like when because I knew this may be coming. When they played the Lightning down there, the Lightning's broadcast is really good. So like if you're worried about like quality of it, I think it's probably going to be better. Like based on what I've seen, quality's pretty good from this.
The app needs to work.
That would be step one.
We know about app issues. That would be important.
Yeah, now that it's going away, can we all just like the FanDuel app sucks?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's awful. So this is to me a really good development if you're a Predators fan out there that has been trying to figure out a consistent way to watch these games. Like, and I know like specifically these games that we're talking about are starting at 9:00 and 9:30 at night, but just in general, watching games down, starting next year should be way easier for you. So that is a good thing.
Yes, that's good business.
Yep. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. More of your thoughts to get to on our text line. We will do that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Tee it up with us at the 5th annual 615 Open coming up May the 28th at Hermitage Golf Course. We are supporting Folds of Honor to help them fund life-changing scholarships for families of America's fallen heroes. Register now to play or sponsor at 615open.com. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. One texter says, everyone not wanting the Predators to make the playoffs because of a better pick in their record. Look at Boston a few years ago, wins the President's Trophy, goes in, and then craps the bed in the playoffs. That did happen. We have seen that happen multiple times with top seeds that have gone in. Now, look, we've also seen top seeds go on good runs and in some cases win Stanley Cups. So I still I wouldn't be scared off of a top seed if you're one of these teams out there. But yes, like assuming that Colorado is just going to plant their flag and they're just going to be there in the Stanley Cup final this year, I don't think I would make that assumption. Like, you know, I will pick them to beat the Predators if they're playing the Predators. I will pick them to beat the Kings if they're playing the Kings. And then, by the way, if you're Colorado, if you win that series, you're taking on the winner of Dallas and Minnesota right after that. So, I mean, that's when it gets difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, I mean, crazy things do happen. It's, you know, the unpredictability of this tournament. It's probably, you know, I think the data would tell you that hockey and baseball are probably less chalky over time, right? Than certainly than the NBA, but also than football too.
Probably so. Cam says at this point, just get in. The draft is ruined, so make it worth it. This team to me oddly has similarities to the 2017 team. Kinda. I mean, like from the way that, I mean, there are some, I guess, if they get in, they're probably going to be the second wild card team, and then they're going to be taking on a better team than that Chicago team was in Colorado.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are some similarities. Like from the way the team is built, they're pretty different. Like the Predators that year, and I've said this before in 2017, but there were people before the season picking them to win the Stanley Cup that year. Like the Predators were pretty clearly building something. They traded for Johansson the year before. They traded for Subban that offseason, and they were, I'm not going to say like a prevalent pick, but there were people picking them to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, they had the best decor in the league. They had a goalie with a massively high ceiling with Vezina, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
adjacent goalie. I mean, there's differences.
Oh, and you saw like, you know, early in that playoff run, Johansson played like a legitimate number one center. Like he dominated Jonathan Toews in that series. And then, you know, the best top four in the league on defense and carried them. Yossi and Ellis were together. And then, like, you know, Ekholm, Subban were just dynamite together in that playoff run. So
all the tough matchups.
This team doesn't have that. Like, this team does not have a defense anywhere in the same vicinity of that top four. Now, they do have something that team did not have, which is 240 goal scorers. That's about to happen. So they're different in the way that they're built, and it's a different game too.
They both have Forsberg and Yossi on the ice.
They do.
So you got that.
Saros too. Saros was the backup for
he was. All
that.
Yeah.
He waved. I think he got in the Stanley Cup final a couple times.
Yeah, Pekka got pulled once or twice, right? Yeah.
So there, I think those are the only three left, right? Forsberg, Saros.
Yep.
Yossi. I think that's it.
Sisson's gone.
Yep.
That's it. So yeah, not really that similar. But I mean, you know, this team, I mean, there's enough on this team. You know, that if you got tremendous goaltending, and again, like that's like, can he get like on an absolute heater?
Well,
that's probably, you know, I don't see any sort of like long stay longer than like 5 games unless that happens.
Yeah, if you're gonna beat Colorado in the first round, that's what it's going to take, right? Like he's going to have to steal you a couple of games, and you're going to have to keep scoring timely goals. You know, and people have pointed this out. They're not wrong. They have beaten Colorado this year a couple of times. I mean, they have beaten Colorado. Now, I would say this. There is a difference between, you know, some regular season wins in February or some regular season wins in January, and then the pressure being turned up and the playoffs coming around. Like, my guess is, you know, game 1 in Colorado's been waiting for this for like 4 months at this point. They've known kind of where they're going to be. Makar will be back by then. Like, it's going to be an absolute it's going to be a buzzsaw that you're running into, and you're going to have to find a way to handle that. Like, it's in some ways, I'll say this. They had no chance a few years ago. Number one, the 2022 Colorado team was, I think, better than this one. That team was ridiculous. And then the Predators, combined with all that, lost their goalie heading into it. They had no chance in that series. I think this team has a better chance than that one does. And I would not pick Colorado to sweep them. I probably would pick Colorado to win in maybe 6, maybe 5.
Yeah. Look, there's a big difference between the teams on paper, but the pressure aspect of this is also, and sometimes what you say, it's like what you just said there, they've known and they have. So, I mean, sometimes teams can get in their own head too. Plus, obviously you add Cale Makar, it's a gigantic difference, but sometimes, it takes a little bit of time when you get some moving parts and things like that. I mean, I'm just coming up with, random things,
well,
but the pressure part of it's real for a team like Colorado.
Oh, and you talk about pressure, like there'd be none of it on the Predators heading into that series. Like, right. Number one, you'd be a lot of the talk around the league would be, hey man, like what a story. They were the worst team in the league on December the 1st, and they clawed their way back and got into a playoff series. So that's great. And then you go out there and you just, like, at that point, you just let it fly if you're the Predators, and then let the chips fall where they may. Like, they're not as talented as Colorado. I don't know what they do with, that McKinnon, and, they got Kadri back now, and, Makar's there. Like, so there's a lot there for Colorado that you're feeling pretty good about. But the idea that it's going to be like you show up and it's just a total waste of time, I don't discount the idea that the Predators can give them a little bit of a fight in that series.
Yeah, and hockey's weird. You get just the right, little deflection here or there. You get the strange bounce, and again, like, you're going to have your goalie.
Yes,
just steal some stuff.
And you're going to have your forwards, like your veteran forwards. Like, Stamkos has had some big-time moments in the playoffs in his career. O'Reilly, obviously, has had some big-time moments in the playoffs. Marchessault has won a Conn Smythe trophy, right? Like, you need some guys who have performed in playoff, high-pressure situations before to do it again, right? Like, they're capable of doing it, and you need them to do it. And by the way, like, this is not to say, and Stamkos talked about this the other day, like, people have talked about, well, the games they're playing right now are about as high pressure as it gets. And even Stamkos the other day was like, well, I mean, they're high pressure. They're not playoff games. Like, it's not the same. Like, it's just a different thing. But Stamkos is producing right now. O'Reilly's producing right now. Yossi has stepped it up. He's producing right now. Obviously, we've talked about Forsberg. So, when the moment gets bigger, you have guys on your roster who in their career have demonstrated the ability to rise up to that moment, which we probably don't talk about enough with those guys because of how it feels like since they've signed all these guys, it's been, it's underachieved, right?
Yeah.
But you signed them ultimately to get to the playoffs and get to this point and see if they can perform. And we hadn't had the chance to see that yet. So we'll see if they can get there. But if they do, like, Steven Stamkos played a whole lot of playoff games. Ryan O'Reilly's played a whole lot of playoff games. Like, these guys are, and the moment ain't going to be too big for him, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, it won't be too big for him. And the way Stamkos is playing, like, he's a weapon. He's a weapon in the playoffs. So, no, it's almost 2 years of waiting to see if it would pay off.
Yeah.
So,
Craig,
we may, and we may not.
Craig says, Colorado hasn't played a meaningful game since Christmas. I see that as the only saving grace. Maybe you can take the first game and make it interesting after that. There is something to that. Like, when you haven't played a high-stakes game in a long time, and then you step into a playoff series, sometimes we see teams struggle to adjust to that out of the gate. So we'll see. Got to get there first. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We will get into the NFL draft coming up next. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us in the second half of the program. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Wednesday morning. We are presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Get thicker grass, better color, and fewer bare spots with turf application. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com today. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us in the second half of the program. We will get into the Titans and all things NFL with him. So looking forward to that. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. We'll have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up later this hour as well. The Beast is out at The Athletic. So Dane Brugler, friend of the show, his annual publication that he puts out of there that goes into extreme detail about these prospects in the draft, and he breaks them all down. It's really good stuff. Check that out at The Athletic. He has ranked his top 100 players in the draft coming up as well. By the way, if you're wondering, Arvell Reese, number 1, which is not a surprise. I think he's had him ranked number 1 the whole time. Jeremiah Love is number 2 on Brugler's list. So Jeremiah Love coming in at number 2. Here was the takeaway from Dane Brugler. Says he's an explosive athlete with a remarkable blend of balance and burst to be dynamic both as a runner and in the passing game. He is one of the most talented players in this year's draft class, projects as a high upside NFL weapon, talking about Jeremiah Love. And one thing I've noticed, and, without giving away the entire beast here, one thing you notice, Joe, pretty quickly as you get down the list of some of these prospects is, I guess, the way that Brugler describes them is like, yeah, he could probably turn into an NFL starter, or this is a starter. And then pretty quickly, like into the 20s, it's like, yeah, he should start, but, maybe high level backup at some point. It's like, man, does this draft class suck that much where we're talking about like these guys and, they're picked 35th overall might start at some point?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit, and which tracks with what a lot of the stuff we've heard, right? It's just, it's not, again, right? Not a great draft. When's the last time we had a draft? Was it 2 years ago, I guess?
I guess so.
Yeah. Like, I think that was more like, this is a really good draft.
And everybody thinks next year's is going to be really good, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, we know a receiver who's going to be great in next year's draft.
We do.
But like, the quarterback thing is just always wrong. It's like, it's just all over the place. What we think now compared to what we'll think in August, compared to what we'll think in October and then December, like that changes a lot. But yeah, it's definitely a draft where it's like, if you're going to move down, be careful, because I get the idea of moving down and getting more picks. But if there's like 15, like legit, actual, everybody agrees they're, first round prospects, you might want to make sure you're getting at least one of those.
I'm looking at the weaknesses that have been listed in Jeremiah Love's game. These are the weaknesses. Goes big game hunting at times and bypasses developing lanes to try to get outside. Hard charging runner, smashes the accelerator, but could use a dash more tempo. Could do a better job of setting up second and third level moves. Takes care of the football. He fumbled just once in 3 years with the Irish. 0 lost fumbles, but he got a bad habit of jump skipping when catching passes. So there's that. Those are some of the weaknesses for Jeremiah Love. It's like we're going into the bag on some of these weaknesses.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, I will say, though, that I take seriously the setting up blocks and the patience thing. That is a huge thing for a back. So, again, some guys seem to have like a real knack for that. You can learn. I mean, I think you can learn it. You can get better at that stuff, That's funny, too, because the big game hunting thing was definitely a knock on Derrick Henry early in his career. It's like, just put your head down and, stop trying to go outside all the time, He turned out to turn out okay. It took him a little bit. It did take him a little minute to get there.
It did.
They were, he was behind David Fluellen for a minute there.
Good call, LaFleur.
What a time. Yeah, that's right. Well, you could blame Vrabel too, but yes, LaFleur. I guess LaFleur was the OC that year.
I didn't know this. Apparently, Jeremiah Love was born premature, 3 pounds 9 ounces. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
I know. Brugler always comes with these little factoids.
I mean, there's everything you could possibly want to know about Jeremiah Love is in this piece right here. So again, I'm not going to read all of it, but here's one thing that I just don't believe. Okay, and I was talking to you about this off air. Arvell Reese, number 1 prospect. Jeremiah Love's number 2. He's got Mendoza at number 3. And I like Fernando Mendoza. I understand why he's going number 1 overall. He's a quarterback. The Raiders need a quarterback. He's probably the best quarterback in this class. Like, yeah, are you telling me that he's a better prospect than like Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs or David Bailey? Like, he's better than those guys? Like, as a prospect, I just don't believe that.
Yeah, I know. It's like the fact that he's a quarterback is obviously the thing there, right? So, but I'm with you. I mean, I think for the second year in a row, there's going to be a number 1 overall quarterback that everybody is like, well, in some years that wouldn't be the number 1. So how is that the third best bet? I don't remember a year ago. You remember where Cam Ward
I don't
was
remember
as an
Cam
overall
was.
prospect? Another thing interesting. So I don't know if you've seen it yet. If you haven't seen it yet, can you guess where Joey Aguilar and Diego Pavia are?
I have not seen
on
it.
the list of quarterbacks.
On the list of
Just
quarterbacks,
take a guess.
I will go.
Yeah, I'm talking I'm talking the beast now.
I'll go. I mean, I don't know how many quarterbacks are in the draft, but I'll go Pavia 9, Aguilar 12.
Aguilar 11, Pavia 16.
Really?
Yes. He has Joey Aguilar 5 spots higher than Diego Pavia.
Saw Pavia getting to a little workout with the Panthers, trying to make Bryce Young look tall.
Yeah, exactly. Pavia also talking about not having an agent because he didn't want to give up 5 to 10%. And first of all, like there's an NFL rule that it's 3%.
Yes.
But also like NIL agents they do that. Those guys will take 10. But yeah, he should get an agent.
By the way, if
get an agent, Diego.
If you're wondering, I've found where Cam Ward was last year on the top 100.
Okay,
he was number 13.
Yeah, so that's more. That's probably about where Mendoza should be, right?
I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I don't know. He's got Kirk Cousins now, so
that's true. Maybe there's a bump.
It's like
in the ranking.
multiplying him.
I mean, I'm not trying to sell short Fernando Mendoza. I don't know that I look at Fernando Mendoza as like some can't miss quarterback prospect.
No, I absolutely do not look at him like that. Now this makes me like, God, the beast. I'm just going to totally go down the rabbit hole. This is cool too. We got so the beast now. We've got little video stuff going with it.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Skyler says the Titans will not take Jeremiah Love only because the last couple years when the main player talked about before the draft, it never happens. That's not really true. The main player talked about last year was Cam Ward, and that happened. Says last year was an exception with Ward. The year before it was Joe Alt or Malik Neighbors. We got J.C. Latham.
Yeah, that's true.
The year before that, it was trade up for C.J. Stroud. They ended up with Skoronski. Titans will not end up with Love due to the fact he's been all the talk this process.
I will say, Skyler, that the higher you are, the more likely it is that the person we talk about is who it is, right? Like when you're 11th.
Yeah,
when you're 11th, yeah, it can be, So I think that we probably talked some about Skoronski, not very excitedly because he's an offensive lineman, a guard.
Yeah,
but yeah, you may be right. I don't know. I mean, we've talked a lot about Love. We've talked a lot about Bailey. So if it's not one of those two, I guess then you're getting into the someone that we haven't talked as much about. Maybe they'll go Bain.
Well, Bain is number 9 on the list, by the way, too, of the top 100 prospects. They got Ruben Bain at number 9. I was interested to see where he landed. Bailey's at 7, so it's not like Bailey is jumping out towards the top here. The one that it was interesting to me, like if you're a Tennessee fan, because like I have seen some mock drafts that have Chris Brazzell going at 37 or 41, or like some people have him going 35 to the Titans. Like I've seen him up decently high, and Brugler's got him ranked at number 96. Says he's an immediate deep threat who moves well for someone his height, but quote, a long way to go on the Chris Brazzell front.
Yeah, which I mean, I read that as the offense, right? Although Brazzell has done a lot of look at the film, like it's not jet, and so it's still like even though obviously he's not doing just the stop and go stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still like stuff he's gonna be doing in these offenses that just aren't part of that offense. But that's low. Yeah, that is low for someone with those traits.
Brugler goes in the bag here, man. Part of the weaknesses was for Brazel, arrested for speeding 60 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone and driving with a suspended license in August of 2025. I actually remember that. So his charges were later dismissed. Lord, when he starts putting together these Georgia player profiles, he's going to have to be like, good grief.
They're all way low on the list.
You see how many, yeah. The weakness is they all get arrested for going, 95 miles an hour.
Got a D on a chemistry test as a high school junior.
615-737
deep here.
1025, our phone number. More coming on the NFL draft. Kuharsky with us later in the program. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Today, the Nashville Sounds taking on Gwinnett, AAA affiliate for the Atlanta Braves. First pitch at 5:35. You can catch all the action on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Family Leisure and Social Cantina. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Paul Kuharsky will be with us coming up here in the second half of the program. Caleb, going back on Brazel, says, anyone who says Tennessee's offense was the same, especially with wide receivers last year, did not watch it all and shouldn't be taken seriously. Yes, they did make some changes. Now, one thing that I think is always going to be difficult in this offense, and it's brought up in the weaknesses part with Brazel too, is like when Tennessee runs the ball and you've got the wide splits, like you basically get no feel at all for how good these receivers are at blocking because they don't leave the line of scrimmage. Like, under the weakness, Brugler talks about this, and we've talked about this before, but the quote, barely moved off the line on some run plays in Tennessee's offense, right? Like when he's lined up basically on the boundary, there ain't a whole lot of run blocking that's going on out there on the boundary. So there's that. I mean, some things just naturally put you at a disadvantage in the evaluation process when you're in this offense. That would be one of those things. And I would agree with this. Like, I don't necessarily think Brazel is great after the catch, right? Like, he's good at high pointing the ball, going up, making some big plays. Like, he's not a huge, yards after catch guy in terms of like making people miss and breaking tackles and making big plays down the field that way. He'll go get the ball, which that's great. There's great value in that.
Yeah. And, to the text point, look, I understand all these guys. Obviously, especially you're coming out of the draft, you're going to fight against the perception. I mean, look, I watched every Tennessee game this year. Well, I'm going to not watch much of like whenever they played like, Southwest, whatever state. But they had some different things in there, but it's still the same offense. I mean, it's the same offense. The deep choice routes activated on one side, not activated on the other, and that was still foundational to the offense. They did some different things, but Jalen Hyatt caught the ball over the middle sometimes. Jalen Hyatt in the red zone caught slants for touchdowns. Like, they have done different things. Really, Golish coming into that offense added a whole bunch. I mean, he added all the RPO stuff, which had not been part of the offense. So, I mean, it already was much more than just your deep choice, traditional like Art Browse when you think of like those Baylor teams from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, RG3 and what's his name? Seth. That guy, man. Talk about like what was it? Seth.
I don't remember his last name. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Incredible college, like 450 yards every game and 4 touchdowns, and like couldn't get a sniff in the NFL. But so it already was, and I understand.
Seth Russell, by the way. There you go.
Seth Russell?
Never heard that name.
Really? That was.
Oh, it's not. I'm looking at the wrong one.
I was like,
he's older than
that. Does not seem right to me. Who the heck?
Why can I not think of the Baylor quarterback?
Hold on, I'm gonna figure this out. I hate when these things happen, but you have a young brain. You're supposed to, like be able to snap your fingers. Seth Baylor QB 2014. I know somebody. No.
Seth? No.
You think
Bryce Petty. God, Seth? So Seth was on the team.
There was
Seth was back on the team. Bryce Petty. There you go. Bryce Petty, man. As a college quarterback. Insane. And then it's like, we don't want you in the NFL. Thanks.
Seth.
Sorry, Seth. But hey, good to know that Seth was back.
He's there.
Good job, Seth.
Yeah, good stuff on that front. David Bailey, number 7 on this list. You look at some of the strengths. And this is when I'm looking at a pass rusher. I think one of the things that he uses to describe here is he's not a finesse rusher. He plays physical through the shoulders of blockers. Says also finishes with tremendous closing speed to chase down quarterbacks and backside runs. Those are some of the things that get me excited about the edge rushers, like the ability to quickly close on that space, finish off the quarterback. Like that's the difference in some games between getting off the field and allowing a touchdown drive is your pass rusher being able to close the distance and get there. And the Titans just really, from specifically an edge rusher, like even Landry, Like Landry was a good edge rusher for them. But Landry didn't have like just tremendous closing speed to get in there and finish the play, right? Like, so, you know, when they describe Bailey that way, and that adds up from watching him play last year, it's like, you know, that extra half second that he can close the distance on somebody and get to the quarterback, that makes a huge difference in the NFL.
No
huge.
Doubt. No doubt. No, that's definitely an exciting thing to hear about. I'm a little bit, I thought that maybe like Bailey would just be higher overall, you know?
Well, you got to get Mendoza in there, you know, number 3 prospect.
Yeah. I'm really, you know, as I look here at, okay, so yeah, Mendoza, that's just, yeah, man, I don't know. And Styles as your 4th. Interesting too. I was a little surprised that Arvell Reese. I thought for some reason that Dane had Jeremiah Love number 1. Is that a recent switch?
I don't think so. I think he's had Reese number 1.
Has he had Reese? Okay, there are others who have Love number 1, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but you know, top 2. I mean, that's, you know, like you said, you get into like, you know, you get into the nitty gritty on him, and it is hard not to think that, you know, he's going to come in this league and do some pretty good stuff.
I'm scrolling through The Athletic. One of the other headlines is Diego Pavia to the New York Jets. God, I hope not for his sake. Just don't end up with the Jets.
Why is that a headline?
I don't know. I mean, Nick Baumgartner wrote about it the other day. It says,
just like things you'd like to see or something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, we'll have Baumgartner on the show tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Nice. I got to say, like, I'm a little bit stunned. I know that now it's deep draft stuff, but like the fact that he has Aguilar 5 spots ahead of Pavia,
yeah,
I would not like. All due respect to Aguilar,
it's just the
did
size,
a great job
right?
this year. It's got to be right. Yeah. Dane says good sized passer, NFL arm, develop confidence and toughness. He'll have a chance to turn some heads once he gets into camp. So, and that's the thing. It's like I kind of assigned this season. I mean, it's hard not to, especially with the Hendon Hooker thing, right? They're like, there you go. Here's another guy who's just sort of, you know, he's at App State and he throws all these picks and he looks great in this offense. But that's not what Brugler's seeing. So, I mean, good for Aguilar, but it's also, of course, you know, the Pavia thing there. Not a lot of love for Diego.
Does Brugler have Pavia getting drafted? What would you say he was the 16th quarterback?
He has them both as 7th / free agent guys.
Okay.
So, yeah, lack of size and arm strength, tough to overcome on Pavia. NFL backup potential for an RPO-based offense. So, you know, it's really interesting. I mean, I think people are going to want him. He also says weaknesses, life of the party persona won't be a fit for every staff organization. Now, see, I understand. He also mentioned the F all the voters thing on social media. And I get that. I also think that, like, for the most part, you talk to, and these teams they're going to talk to all these people at Vanderbilt and like, okay, give me the real deal. And they're going to hear a lot of, oh man, like this dude led the whole team, and I still think that's going to way heavier than the other stuff.
Nevada Josh saying he's getting a Seth Russell jersey today. Seth Russell, shout out to the former Baylor quarterback.
Congrats, Seth. Did Seth start maybe 1 year?
I need to go look. I've heard his name before.
Yeah. Maybe he got to.
I think he may have.
The year
Let's
after
see.
Bryce Petty left. I think that was the year that it all went to hell at Baylor, actually. Pretty close to it. Not Seth, and it wasn't Seth's fault, by the way.
Seth Russell threw 278 passes his senior year. So I'm going to assume he started a few games.
Okay.
He threw for 20 touchdowns, 8 picks. It's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Glad we could get some Seth Russell info in today.
Looks like he started for, in some capacity, 2 years at Baylor. Played 7 games in 2015 and 9 games in 2016.
Okay. Yeah. So right after Petty left. Yeah. All right.
Seth Russell, baby.
Seth Russell.
Shout out. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. More your thoughts to get to on the NFL draft coming up next. Our football offseason coverage brought to you by Tennessee Brew Works, the official craft beer of football offseason coverage here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Join 102.5 The Game and catch the biggest golf tournament of the year at 5 Iron Golf, located at 202 21st Avenue South in Nashville. 102.5 The Game will be broadcasting live all day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow and Friday. Stop in, enjoy great food, golf, prizes, and more with fellow fans from start to finish. Don't miss it only at 5 Iron Golf. We'll be out there tomorrow morning, starting at 6 a.m. and going to get Rexrode swinging the clubs a little bit out there. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take a couple swings. It's been a long time. I could not tell you what was the last year that I swung a golf club. I don't think I've done it at any of our.
I don't think you have either.
Yeah, watch you out there.
I think you may have hit some of my clubs on the range for like 5 or 6 shots.
Did I?
I think so.
Okay,
that's probably the last time you swung a golf club.
It's probably pretty impressive, right?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty amazing. Majestic.
Tally-ho! I couldn't tell if it was you or Scotty Scheffler out there.
Yeah. I thought it looked kind of fun, like like smashing the golf ball into the video screen.
Yeah.
Like, what's that league? Oh, as Gentry was showing me this in Oklahoma City. We're watching that league where they play.
Oh, TGL. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy, like trying to hit it under a cliff and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was like, this is actually golf that I might find interesting a little bit. It's not just polyester pants and John Daly on his 9th Coors Light.
Yeah, a lot of
ripping a heater.
A lot of Seth Russell love out there right now. We appreciate Seth Russell and his contribution to the program today. I am interested, Carnell Tate, which kind of feels like an afterthought at this point. I did mention yesterday, I was listening to Todd McShay earlier this week, and he said, hey, don't be surprised if Carnell Tate goes in the top 5 here. The description from Brugler basically just starts talking about, the adjustment, the skills, catch radius, all those things. He said he's an immediate NFL starting Z with Pro Bowl upside, talking about Carnell Tate. So, I mean, it is kind of interesting to me, like the
Pro Bowl upside sounds good.
The different takes on like Tate and what his upside actually is. Because I think everybody for the most feels like he's good, right? Like he's a solid, good player who's going to be a good receiver in the NFL. I don't know that you take a receiver at number, 7 or 8 overall, certainly not number 4 overall, that's just going to be like, an okay number 2, right? Like you want a legitimate number 1 guy if you're taking a receiver that high. And some people think he's going to be that. And then some people are like, no, I mean, there's no way he's going to be a legitimate number 1 guy in the NFL.
Yeah, I have not thought, again, I think some of the things, and I try not to, I think sometimes I have Ohio State skepticism because of all the talent that's around them. How many, but that's debunked by like how many Ohio State receivers have really excelled. Like Jackson Smith and Jigba, I did not think he was going to become what he has become. So there's an example of a guy. So
I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to be an absolute stud.
That's true. That
hasn't played out that way so far.
That's the flip side, I guess. Yeah, they don't all work out. I hate helmet scouting, but when it's system scouting, it's like obviously Ohio State gets the best football players, but they're very good. I think offensively, Ryan Day, like they've got it down right, and they're getting great guys and they develop them to be great players. They come in the NFL, they produce. I think he's going to be good in the NFL, but do you take him at 4? That's I say no, but Pro Bowl upside doesn't sound too bad.
Well, like I've kind of stopped thinking about it. Taking him at number 4.
We barely ever talk about him.
That's probably our fault. Like we fall into this trap every year of, well, the mock drafts all say this because so this has to be the way this plays out, and then the actual draft comes around and you're like, oh well, they were totally wrong about that, and they were.
And then it changes the whole draft.
Right. I mean, how many mock drafts last year on the day of the draft had, Shedeur Sanders going in the first round, right? Like it just, it changes.
It was like, well, probably fall into the second, like a lot of them might have had him like, okay, early second. And then we saw what actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was a special case. The whole thing was, but yeah, we fall into, this is the general consensus of the mock drafts, and so then you're really surprised. Yeah, I mean, like Carnell Tate, maybe he's a top 5 guy. That could be.
Sonny says Tate feels like Corey Davis, solid player who's had a good career, but not a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
That's an interesting comparison.
Davis thing was hard. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. You know, the Davis thing is obviously hard because at Western Michigan, and also he didn't. He went the whole process. He had a broken. I think he had just like a broken bone in his foot. I think is what he had. Whatever he had some sort of a fracture in his leg, so he didn't go through any of the stuff. So he didn't. You know, he didn't do combine, he didn't run all that stuff, and he had just played. You know, like they played like Wisconsin the bowl game, but for the most part, like you know, he was dominating Maction DBs. You know, that's one thing. There's one big difference between those two.
I'm looking at these quarterbacks. I am so fascinated to see like who the third quarterback taken in the draft is and where they go, because he's got Nussmeier, which I think is probably the general consensus of who the third quarterback is going to be. But where's he going?
Yeah,
he's got Drew Aller at number 4. Where's he going? Right? Like this really is like on the surface a terrible quarterback class. Like it's just and maybe they'll have 4 guys that end up being really good players in the NFL. I have no idea. But on paper heading into it, it's a pretty bad quarterback class. Like it's not, Kenny Pickett class level bad, but it's not good. It's one of the worst ones I've seen.
Well, but the thing is, a lot of these guys at different times were supposed to be certainly first round pick guys.
Yeah, Klubnik
right?
he's number like Klubnik. Who knows where he's going to get drafted? And there were people talking about him. I remember heading into the Clemson Georgia game last year. There were people talking about him being the number 1 pick when he came out. And what's he going to go? Is he going to go in like the 5th round? Maybe.
It's a great question. So I'm trying to figure out where he's projecting. So where is he projecting these guys? I don't see that because I'm bad at navigating things. Like Aller and Nussmeier.
I don't know. I mean, he's got Nussmeier as the number 3 quarterback. I'll tell you this: he's got Ty Simpson as his number 2 quarterback, and he's the 42nd ranked prospect. And he called him, I think, basically a Daniel Jones with not really as much upside. Says he could be maybe a mid-level starter to a backup in the NFL.
Yeah,
and that was his number 2 quarterback in Ty Simpson.
Yeah. Okay. I should have had this information. So he's got Nussmeier as a 3rd rounder, Aller in the 3rd, 4th, and then everybody else. Cole Payton from North Dakota State as a 4th, and then you get into Beck, Taylor Green, Klubnik, Haynes King, Aguilar, all like from either 5th on down to the 7th. So, yeah. So I still forced to bet. I still bet Ty Simpson is a 1st round pick, but we'll see. And then after that, I think there's going to be a long break.
Yep. 615-737-1025, our phone number. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode is coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
I'm looking at you. I'm not happy.
What are you doing? I say babies. What do you do?
I poop myself a lot, probably.
It's for the kids. It's for the kids. It's for the kids.
Keep the kid's name out of your mouth.
It's not like the boss. When the boss plays a Santa Claus coming to town, that is so wonderful. Call me a baby or old school or whatever. All they do is you scream and you scream. They love me because I give baby life-saving blood. I want an ice cream, and I want a hot dog, and I want Rant Fire, and I want a hamburger.
You give them baby blood?
Vrabel leaving the field here stained in blood.
Vrabel, smash away.
Down by the river, I shot my baby.
White Sox, go, White Sox.
It is time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Rapid Response Generators. Power when it matters the most. Check them out today at rapidresponsegenerators.com. Joe Rexrode's rant of the day. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com is with us on the program. Hello, all. PK, good morning.
Good morning. Now your Edith Bunker is taking on an Adam Sandler tone.
I never thought about that.
And people like that.
I hadn't thought about that.
It's bizarre.
That might be my favorite one, though.
The boss doing Santa Claus coming to town. My favorite song by the boss. I still don't understand. Like I have a sound, but that is not it.
Well, but we like to
by
give it a new.
By we, like you mean you.
The Robby and Rexrode program likes to give it a new little feel. So look, I'm going to take this opportunity with PK in to get to something I know we all want to talk about, which is college basketball.
That's what everybody's waiting for.
So now, Robby, you actually had this rant, but I gotta take, I gotta really focus in on something. And yes, this is something I wrote today in the Athletic. Yes, thank you very much. The Big Ten should absolutely, the Big Ten should talk all the trash. They've won 3 straight football championships. They finally won a women's basketball championship because they got UCLA.
Sure.
That also means the Big Ten, by the way, is the number 1 baseball and beach volleyball team in the country. The Big Ten with UCLA as those teams. But
good job on them.
They finally broke the streak. I covered Michigan State's national championship in Indy in 2000, and I just covered Michigan's national championship in 2026. That's the gap between Big Ten championships. But the thing about this that's hilarious, and it's perfect too because of just what happened this weekend, is the whole thing of like, well, the SEC used to dominate because they cheat. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And the Big Ten, well, they were following the rules, and now everybody pays, and so that's what's happened.
I like that.
Yeah, you like that? You buy that? You buy that as a reality?
I buy anything that the SEC has to explain why it's not excelling now.
Okay, that's fine. So you hate the SEC. That's fine.
But I don't hate the SEC. I have some questions about SEC fandom.
The hilarious thing about that is like this weekend, one of the things that they had as part of the whole Michigan thing, let's bring in the Fab Five to do an alt cast. Does anybody remember that the Fab Five is the largest scandal in NCAA history in terms of dollar amount that we actually got verified? Do we remember that or no? Now I could go on a sub rant and be like, so let's see, Michigan just won their 2nd national title. Their first came in 1989. Glenn Rice is the greatest Michigan player in the history of the NCAA tournament. He averaged 31.6 points per game. Averaged 31.6 points per game in the NCAA tournament. He was an incredible player. Also, he's one of the best NBA players ever from Michigan. We never talk about him. Let's bring the freaking Fab Five into everything, who never won anything. They never won the Big Ten. They never won a national championship. They were complete cheaters. They were all on the take. Ed Martin, this guy who ran numbers at a factory in Detroit, completely just bought the entire team, but let's celebrate them.
Was the factory in South Detroit?
No,
Southern.
It actually wasn't even in Detroit.
Okay,
but yeah, whatever. It was in the area. So again, we've got that. We got Bruce Pearl on TV, and everybody seems to dislike him. And Bruce Pearl, of course, is famous. He was a complete pariah in the coaching industry forever because he recorded a kid talking about how he got a car from Illinois, hoping he could get him because Iowa and Illinois were both cheating so much to try to get Deion Thomas to come to their school. Like, the Big Ten has been as dirty as anyone over the years. But so now we're going with this narrative that it's just the SEC. Was the SEC better at cheating than the Big Ten? I believe so. There's no numbers to back it up. Like, no one – but I believe that the SEC led the way in cheating. I believe it's the best cheating conference of all time.
When you say there's no numbers to back it up, isn't there failure to win now that the playing field is more leveled? Conceivably a number that is backing it up?
Sort of, but the thing is, I don't. So again, let's look at like who's benefiting from this. Like Vanderbilt, for example, they're in the SEC. I mean,
well, they're pretty far from winning a national championship.
But they're
big sport.
Well, I mean, they were almost in the playoff this year.
Almost in the playoff,
right.
As I said, is pretty far from winning a national championship.
Right, but the point is that they're an example of all what the Earth's flat. You know, like you probably like this stuff. You probably
that
it actually is.
I love dumbness. It's my favorite thing.
You and Greg McElroy think the moon landing was fake, probably.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorites.
Oh, does McElroy think that?
Yeah, he had a great rant. It was propaganda. No. I don't. That's the thing. People are taking it that way. Like, oh, now that they were cheating before. They were cheating. I promise you that like Ohio State was not giving out room, board, and tuition to its football players 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. I promise you.
I agree. Who do we think? And I'm not big on this, but who do we think was the best at cheating?
One program?
Look, conference-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think the SEC is the best. I mean, they are. So are there maybe some Big Ten programs who are like, because they didn't want to cheat, maybe that's part of it. But like, people are seriously taking this like the pristine Big Ten. Oh, well, we just can't quite compete with the SEC. I think a big part of this is also, more kids. I mean, there's much more talent, like Florida, Georgia, and the region helped the SEC too, right? And I do think that now it's like, well, if Texas Tech's going to pay me that much, I'll go out to Texas Tech. Or like I think that there's more people coming to this area and taking kids because of the full payment.
I agree with all that, and your stance from the Big Ten side is fine. On the other hand, I'd like for SEC people to shut up a little bit and explain themselves, or go win something.
That's fine. But again, I'd like to remind you, and this was let me go back to my column that I wrote today that I'm promoting here.
That he can't remember.
Yeah.
Did you know Joe writes for The Athletic?
Because I have. Yeah, here we go. I mean, the headline says Big Ten braggers. Did you forget what the SEC did 1 year ago? So again, 1 year ago. Okay. The greatest non-league performance ever, 89% of their games, a record 14 teams, a record 7 teams in the Sweet 16, a record tying 4 teams in the Elite 8, 2 teams in the Final 4, winning a record 23 games, playing a record 35 games, which means a record $70 million in units from the NCAA, and winning the championship. Okay. That's a year ago in the SEC.
Okay.
1 year ago.
Let me say this, though. If the SEC was listening to somebody argue that a long time ago, they'd say, not a long time ago, relatively recently, they'd say, that's loser talk because what we do is win championships, right? Is that not fair?
Yeah.
If somebody's rattling off how many Sweet 16s they had and how many Elite 8s.
No, that's last year. That's all in 1 year. The league did that.
I understand.
Right.
Who won the title?
Florida.
Okay.
Yes, they won the championship too.
My bad.
God.
I forgot.
Thank you for proving my point.
I already forgot.
You know what the best part about all this is? What's the biggest cheating scandal in college sports recently?
What's
Michigan?
Michigan?
It would be Jim Harbaugh at Michigan.
Yeah.
Right? That's Big Ten. Last time I checked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Football-wise, though, where the landscape is changing and SEC people are having trouble with it. Is that not fair?
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, look, it's even. But so, and this is Robbie's point earlier. It's like the Big Ten dominance. Like, look, man, I have no idea who's going to win it next year, but an SEC team could win it. Like, it's
absolutely
not,
could.
Like the Big Ten's got 3 in a row, and they should talk all the trash. But it's not. But the trash should not include now that after our years of stately behavior. Shut up.
Agree with that, but paired with that,
that's my rant. So if you agree with my rant, then that's it. That's all that matters.
I agree. The Big Ten shouldn't be saying after years of stately behavior, blah, blah, blah. But I would also mention in there, it's a good time for the SEC to shh on the football dominant thing.
Oh yeah,
you're not
they've
not the
been
best.
Humbled.
You're not the best.
No,
Let's
they've
be
been humbled.
quiet. Let's shut up.
You know who really sucks
Let's all
at
be
the cheating
quiet
thing?
now.
Jeremy Pruitt, not great. Not great at the cheating.
I know. It's like, Jeremy, it's not that hard. You just got your own office, some dude with cash in the drawer. Like, come on, man.
Also, if you're going to cheat, be good.
Yeah.
Go win some games.
I mean, you worked for Nick Saban's program and other programs that seem to be just fine. Figured it out. You're like, hey, how about a big cash drawer?
Asparagus, what's that? Paul Kuharsky will be with us for the next hour. We will get into all things Titans with him, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com is with us for the next hour, talking all things Titans. We'll take your questions for PK on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Paul Kuharsky, presented by Sealmaster, keeping your parking lots looking brand new. PK, we're closing in on the NFL draft. We've been having a lot of draft discussions so far on the program. Drew Beatty did a piece at your site last week about, hey, if it's not going to be an edge, like if Bailey and Reese are gone, and you don't love the idea of taking Jeremiah Love as a running back at number 4 overall, well, Carnell Tate fits in pretty cleanly when it comes to the Titans. And we talked about him earlier in the show. Like, I think Brugler and the Beast had him as Pro Bowl upside. There's varying opinions on Tate in terms of like how effective he's going to be. Everybody agrees that he's a good player and he's going to be good. How good is he going to be? What do you make of the idea that basically, honestly, for me, it's kind of left my mind of the idea of taking Carnell Tate at number 4 overall. But you have McShay saying, hey, don't be surprised if Tate goes in the top 5. Maybe that resurfaces here at some point. So what do you make of the idea of Tate and the player that you project him to be?
Yeah, you hit, as I was driving in, on exactly my question. And I think you have to have a real strong answer on this if you were to take Carnell Tate. I think it's hard to take him at 4. I think as a trade down, he'd be more in play. Do you have a number 1 receiver there? And I know they don't like to talk about, 1 and 2 or feel necessarily like you have to have do you have a guy that dictates coverage with Carnell Tate? I don't know if you do or you don't. He's not a big yards after catch guy, which makes him somewhat incomplete. If he's somewhat incomplete, is he dictating coverage? I don't know that he's dictating coverage. I like him. I like what you get out of Ohio State receivers. I heard you talk about helmet scouting, Joe, but I mean, I don't think he's.
Well, it's system.
Yeah.
If it's like the Ohio State QB thing was always dumb. It's like, okay, like when Woody Hayes was there because they hadn't had whatever. It's like different coaches. Who gives a crap? But this is all the same offense coach. And clearly, they churn out great players.
I don't know if he's as good as Egbuka, who started huge last year, and I was saying the Titans need a guy like that. But he faded as they got hurt at the position, and he drew tougher coverage, and I think he had a hamstring and everything, and he didn't turn out to have the great season it looked like he was going to have. And he was drafted at 19 or maybe 21, something like that. Carnell Tate at 19 or 21, I'd feel probably pretty good about, right?
Yeah.
On the speed thing, I'm really trying to revise myself. Every year, I'm like, I got to have a 4-4 guy who can go over the top and threaten defenses and dictate coverages. I am trying, and I made a reel about this. Follow me on Instagram, P. Kuharsky, where I said, look,
Insta,
I've got to get off of this 4-4 hell-bent determination. There are a ton of guys that run a great 4-4 at the combine every year who don't turn out to be the best receivers. The league is littered with great 4-5 guys who turn out to be excellent receivers. And so I'm trying to wean myself off of that, and I was encouraging people to come along with me. So I'm less worried about Tate's speed. I thought that Adam Schefter was being an absolute shill for Drew Rosenhaus, where he said, look, the laser time, wasn't 4.53. There were hand timers that had him faster. And I'm with everybody. The laser time should be the universal time, right? But the fact of the matter, in talking to some people out at the owners' meetings about this, is it's not, right? Because the laser time is a relatively modern invention, and people want to compare things consistently. And what they're comparing things consistently to are hand timers. And I was told by somebody absolutely reliable, there are 4 hand timers on the floor at the combine and 2 in the stands that are passed around and regarded as legitimate information. And that Tate, in fact, on all 6 of those was faster than the laser timer, which is regarded somehow as slow, which is ridiculous, right? Now, I would want the whole league to say the laser time is the time. But that, to me, to them, screws up the comparison, right? Because if last year you're using the hand timers and this year you're using the laser timers, it's inconsistent transition, right? And they can't all just say, this year we're using the laser timers, because it throws off me comparing Jackson Smith and Jigba to Carnell Tate.
And sometimes technology improves and then, right? I mean, that's just what technology improves, and then you make changes like that at some point. Right?
But they apparently haven't done it and still consider these hand timers. And I'm not saying it only applies to Carnell Tate. That's just the one that we've heard about because Schefter decided to put it out there and I decided to follow up on it or whatever. So it applies to a lot of guys. So I don't have as big a speed thing. And I think that they should make it more popular to say a GPS time is more important and put out some of the GPS times. But I guess they consider that confidential information. I'm confident.
I'd like to see how those. I'd like to see the times and how they compare.
Yeah, I'm confident his GPS time is better than his time. Is he a number one receiver? I don't know. I suspect close, but no cigar.
Yeah, I mean, again, first of all,
does he make the Titans better? I think,
yeah, sure. He'd immediately be. But you even look at weaknesses. It's like margin, like you said, margin run and catch or run after the catch, average speed and suddenness for the position by NFL standards. That doesn't, And
also, you have a size in front of you.
Yeah, it's 6. Oh wait, I don't have it in front of me. This is
I need you to have it in front of you.
Yeah. Well, why would this not be part of this?
I don't know. It's your publication. Why don't you do it?
I'm going to call up Dane.
I know you
we'll
dare not say anything about them, but
right.
Give me a little hype.
Pro 6'2" and a 4. Yeah, it's in here. I'm just dumb.
6'2"
and a 4th, 192.
All right, so he's not that big. The other thing that Mike Herndon has pointed out is that Brian Daboll, and Tate doesn't qualify as this, but there are some guys, Boston, as big. And Brian Daboll has not had a big receiver. And is that in all of his time, he's not managed to get the big receiver that he desires? Or it seems maybe more likely, given the large sample size, he doesn't want one. That's not his thing.
It's just hard to believe that there's any offense in this league that wouldn't want, again, you have to have the speed, but wouldn't want a receiver with some size and physicality.
Don't they need one, though? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Ridley's what, 6'1"? Obviously, Wan'Dale Robinson's not a big receiver. Like Io Manor's 6'2", so it's decent size. But don't they need like 6'4"?
Denzel Boston is 6'4", 210. Is that a guy in the second round that's appealing? He certainly is different. And I mean, I'm all for a diversified group. Right? You don't want a bunch of guys that look similar. You want a bunch of guys that are different and bring different skill sets.
I'm for the offense like they had for a minute there with teams trying to tackle Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, and Jonnu Smith.
When Julio Jones was at the beginning, it sounded great, like pick your poison. Right. Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, AJ Brown, Jonnu Smith was in the mix.
But those three in particular are just monsters, to try to tackle.
So you mentioned Denzel Boston there, and Herndon wrote a piece at paulkuharsky.com last week talking about how, if you're 35, you can't just totally let need drive your decision there, because I think the natural thought is, like, if they go edge, let's say they go Bailey at number 4, well, it's like, well, you got to find a receiver at number 35. Or if you go Jeremiah Love at number 4, well, number 35 better be a receiver or an edge rusher at that point. Obviously, you always factor in need to some degree. Like, they say best player available all they want. We all know if they come across in the 3rd round and the best player left on their board is Garrett Nussmeier, they're not taking Garrett Nussmeier at number 3. So best player available is always limited in the discussion that we have here. But at 35, depending on where they go at the first pick, like, how much are you letting need at that point drive you at 35 based on the clear and obvious needs that they still have left on this roster?
Well, I agree with what Mike says, but the fact of the matter is it's hard to get away from need. I mean, I just ranked need at my site: rush end, right guard, nickel corner, nickel safety, center, receiver, inside linebacker, left tackle, running back, tight end. What position haven't I mentioned? I mean, I don't mention running back. I don't think they have to have a running back. And I suspect it'll be Jeremiah Love or no running back based on the way they talked at the owners' meetings. What other positions didn't I mention? I mean, there's virtually every position on the field. A defensive tackle. They don't need a defensive tackle.
Right. So when
he made a case they could take a defensive tackle there. It wouldn't be outrageous, but that's a position of,
be a little surprising.
Of no need. That would be a little bit surprising. So virtually anything they take there, they need.
But if they, they're not going to take receiver probably, right? I mean, they're not going to take receiver with the first pick. They don't move. They're going to be at 4. They're going to take something else. I think that a lot of people, and I understand it, would be like the need of that, like should be elevated, right? Like, but that's where it gets interesting. Like, okay, but let's say there's any of those other positions you mentioned, and they have whatever, they have that guy's like 6 spots higher than whatever receiver is there. How do you how's that math work out? Does it just ultimately come down to, okay, just what's your gut on this? It's close enough that you just, or is it like, you know what, we just have to have a receiver, and it's close enough that need has to win the day right there.
It can tip it, Ideally, it's best player at a position of need, especially when you have that many needs. If it turns out that a defensive tackle is absolutely the best guy there at 35, well, ideally for me, you would find somebody else that feels the same, and you deal down 5 spots or whatever. But I mean, if you took a defensive tackle, would it be the worst thing ever? I don't know. I wouldn't love it, but I understand the philosophy.
Maybe you find another T'Vondre Sweat
of it. Yeah, that'd be terrific. Here's one thing.
Which I was excited by the way.
People want to trade for Dexter Lawrence. Just go do that.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Here's one thing I found about left tackles that I find interesting, and I know you're a proponent of taking one if one's there, and this supports you. And obviously they need a right guard and a center. Maybe they don't take both here, depending on what's available. If they're finding Dan Moore's replacement in this draft, I looked around the league. There are only 5 left tackles right now set to start around the league. And this is before the draft where some of these guys are going to be set to start. There are only 5 left tackles set to start in the league who were drafted outside of the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round. And 2 of those were drafted in the 4th round, including Dan Moore.
Yeah.
So you better find your left tackle in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round. If you're thinking, oh, they'll find one on day 3 and they'll develop him this year and he'll start next year, that's a very, very unlikely scenario.
Rarely happens. All right, we're back to drafting a tackle.
Look at him.
I haven't mentioned it in a while, but since you brought it up, PK,
he's back. Kuharsky is with us the rest of the show.
I say he's next year's 1st or 2nd round pick, and he's starting next year.
Yeah. We'll take your question, 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us here on the program, taking your thoughts on our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I do have some tickets to give away that we will do later this hour, so make sure you are tuned in for that. Some tickets for the Preds and the Sharks coming up at Bridgestone Arena on Monday, which we will get to a little bit later in the show. Paul Kuharsky with us talking all things Tennessee Titans. So you mentioned it, the piece that you brought up about ranking the positions that are still left out there for the Titans. A lot of positions that they still need here. The corner part of this is going to be interesting because right now, I mean, Marcus Harris is the nickel corner right now, right? Like he's the one guy that they've got that's got the skill set to do that. Taylor's going to be playing outside. We know Flott's going to be playing outside. So could you see them maybe potentially go add that in the draft here absolutely. At some point?
I think the nickel corner is a big deal here. And Saleh said at the owners' meetings that the third safety will be the big nickel.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be Kevin Winston.
I thought he would fit good on that, no?
Well, they want him to be dedicated to one spot. And so that spot is interchangeable safety with Amani Hooker. So I would look for them to potentially draft both a nickel corner, smaller, and a third safety. Third safety right now is Tony Adams. So I don't think Tony Adams or Marcus Harris are good enough to be unquestioned in those positions going into camp. At the very least, they need competition. Ideally, they'd be, trumped by draft picks, and they'd be trying to hold off or the draft pick would be penciled in ahead of them on a depth chart right after the draft.
This now makes me want, not that this is, this is not where the Titans are going to be, but now I'm interested to see where Dane. I
really like Keontae Scott. I tweeted something that Dane said about him, a cornerback with a linebacker mentality, and Saleh has talked about that. Like he considers that nickel to be like a third linebacker. Yep. Now, obviously, he's not going to be a linebacker because he needs to have skills to match up with, people that a linebacker is not going to be able to match up.
So he's got Keontae Scott 53rd overall. So
it'd be tough for him to last to 66.
Right. Who knows? It's possible. But probably not, and it's a little rich at 35, right? I mean, that's just
probably a little bit of a
tweener. That's one of those. If you move around, you never know. But again, this is also like rankings, top 100s, like Robby said earlier, mock drafts. We think that it's something, and then sometimes they turn out to be
something totally
so different.
Yeah. The Beast, Joe's going to be reading it all day.
I mean, it's really. I'm seriously. I'm not just doing this because I'm like,
it's a tremendous thing. I wish
the video thing. The video element is cool.
I haven't seen the video, or I only looked at it on my phone.
When you go to a prospect, and I don't know if it's all of them, it's probably just a certain, but like there's actual footage plus video analysis from Ted Gwynn, friend of the show.
So I threw this question out there earlier this week. Everybody's focusing in on what are the weapons going to look like around Ward, and we'll see if they add Love. They're going to add somebody, a receiver at some point, I think, in this draft. So the picture is not yet complete on the weapons around Cam Ward. Independent of all that, independent of who he's throwing the ball to, how much of next year just simply boils down to how much individual improvement does Cam Ward make from year one to year two? Because to me, I think we get lost in that sometimes. It's like all reliant on the weapons around him, and that's not unimportant. But like to me, the quarterback is still the most important position on the field. You drafted this guy number 1 overall, which means he should be the one that raises everything.
Elevator.
He should be elevating everything.
The elevator.
And
that's a great nickname.
Yeah, like I saw some good things from him at the end of last year, obviously before he got hurt. But we would all agree that on the whole, the level of play from him is going to have to get dramatically better as we move forward here. So how much of it is just that next year about the success or failure of next year's team?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good point. He needs to elevate some people. he had really good chemistry with DK and Isle Manor, especially before Isle Manor kind of dropped off. Helm too. So that class has a lot of promise together. Now you wonder about those guys. Some guys really their trajectory goes. Other guys have that kind of second year lull. So
I mean, he can't lull from last year.
Not
right?
not him, but those guys as weapons for him. No, he can't lull. The footwork has been something that he worked on while he was rehabbing the shoulder. So he was, part in Nashville rehabbing, and he was part with his quarterback guy working on that footwork, which Dayball talked to that guy about. We've talked about the hating this. I got Sala to kind of bemoan the CBA. I asked him, I said, how frustrating is it that you're in close proximity of this guy who's the heart of your whole new operation, and your conversations are limited to, hey, did you see that new movie this weekend and what did you think? And he said, I don't know if we're allowed to do that. So it is a stupid system, and it's one of these things that the players quote unquote gain when they win in the CBA, which is a real NFLPA stupidity, and it's part of the union being so incredibly weak. But those shackles are off now. They obviously got together yesterday for the first time, and he obviously was there. So
people are asking if Cam Ward's looking heavy.
Those conversations happen now. Did they break down the film of him walking into the building to that degree?
I mean, someone texted earlier and asked that question.
I didn't study it to that degree. He certainly can reshape his body some from his rookie year, and I would hope that's underway. But he has more time to do it. I mean, it's a long time before opening day, and I think that should be part of what's on his off-season agenda, certainly, which would make him, a little more rugged for hits. Not that he didn't do a good job staying healthy, but you would like him to continue on that track.
So, like, bigger or sleeker? What are you saying? Sleeker?
Sleeker.
Okay.
He's got some baby fat on him still, which is not uncommon for a quarterback coming in like him. I mean, it's not super common, but it's not uncommon. But yeah, he needs to certainly there are areas of improvement for him, and he needs to elevate the deep ball in particular. He needs to elevate some of those receivers. But, you can get better at those spots, and he can elevate people all at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
615-737-1025, our phone number. More coming with Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com here on Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. I got some tickets to give away to see the Nashville Predators take on the San Jose Sharks coming up at Bridgestone Arena next Monday. Caller number 8, 615-737-1025. Caller 8 will win a pair of tickets to see the Preds take on the Sharks in a big game coming up at Bridgestone Arena on Monday. PK, I have to get your thoughts on this. Hendon Hooker, 4th-string quarterback now for the Tennessee Titans.
Joe is so defensive.
Your thoughts?
About time to start respecting.
Yeah. Wanted him.
We got Levis. We got Hooker in the same room.
Joseph here wanted him drafted 11th overall, and now he's the 4th-string quarterback as a street free agent.
Crazy. That stuff never happens with the NFL draft. I'm sure never with you.
I mean, it's a pretty dramatic difference.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought Ryan Leaf was going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. It's fine. I have no problem owning being wrong going to draft it. Every single year, I'm wrong. Some of us can admit that. Some of us,
I admit when I'm wrong. I don't know that I have a gaffe of that level.
Right, sure. Of course you don't.
Look for it.
Yeah. And I bet you'll search real hard.
I won't, because I have other things to do.
Yeah. But you'll remember other people's missteps, though, won't you? Oh, you sure will.
Well, I'll say this. I said
11th?
at the time, thinking that he was 11th, was severe homerism on your part and ridiculous. And that proved to be true. So in this case, I win, you lose.
That's fine. I see that Brugler has Joey Aguilar 11th. What about Aguilar at 35? I mean, they do need more quarterback depth, don't they?
Add him to the mix, man.
People's impatience with Levis. It's just like, when is the Levis deal happening? Why hasn't it happened yet? Like, just all of these things, as if they have a game next week.
Do you think it'll be draft night?
Could be. After the draft, there could be no market for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know the market's going to be
limited.
No one's going to be excited about the return, right?
Yeah, people are thinking the return is going to be a lot bigger than the return is probably going to be. The return is, going to be a jump in a round,
like trading 6th.
Yeah, something like that is the most likely return. If it's better than that, allow yourself to be surprised, but don't anticipate like getting a 3rd-round pick. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, do people really think that?
We get texts about it all the time.
Yeah, but like it's very few people, right?
I hope, but they see, some of these aren't tweets sometimes representative of a larger thing.
They could be
sometimes,
but I think this text really kind of nails it. It says Paul never has any takes. I respect Joe putting his opinion out there. Thank you.
I never have any opinions. That's what I'm.
That's what I think of Kuharsky.
Take free Kuharsky.
Yeah.
God, I wish you'd take a stand on something.
Yeah, they call me milk toast.
Like Johnny 2 times. Paul no takes. Hey, Paulie no takes.
We really got to get PK to break out of that reserve personality.
I've been working on establishing that, and I'm glad to see it's finally breaking through to some of the smarter people out there.
So is Hooker making the roster? Does his ascent begin right now?
I can't imagine that they're a 3-quarterback team. And did he get any guaranteed dollars?
I don't know. I haven't seen. I'm going to doubt it.
While you're looking for that, I'd like to shout out Will in the YouTube chat who says, Paul got duped by an Adam Schefter impersonator and convinced me we were getting Dante Hightower. He has his gaffes too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice
I think we've all been fooled by a fake tweet.
Oh, now it's all happened to us. It happened to everybody, not just me.
I perfectly confess.
Just can't own anything.
I owned it. I got crucified for months about it. I accept it absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that last week Rexrode had an entire 8 o'clock hour topic pin for a tweet that was fake.
Oh, well, let's talk about
it never
that.
saw the light of day.
Saw the light of day.
What was that again? I've already forgotten.
It was the fake John Rothstein tweet about Tyler Tanner hitting the transfer portal.
Bad deal for Vandy. We need to talk about this. Tyler Tanner's gone.
I saw it there. I was like, wait a minute. Did I miss something?
Hendon Hooker's contract details are not in on Spotrac. Neither are KJ Osborne, Michael Carter, or Lance McCutcheon. People showed interest in Lance McCutcheon when they signed Lance McCutcheon. You know what? When Lance McCutcheon was on the roster last year, nobody cared. But when they didn't sign him to a futures contract, I mean, this is a way to be a hero in Nashville. Be on the team or the practice squad. Don't get the futures contract that all the guys get because they don't like you. or you decide not to play. Then decide to play again and get re-signed later. And then everybody's like, oh, this Lance McCutcheon is interesting.
Maybe he'll be wide receiver 5 for the Titans.
I wonder what Restrepo thinks about Lance McCutcheon.
I love our listeners because they keep coming up with all the crap you've messed up. The fake Hopkins. Oh, I forgot about that one. Remember that one?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. And yeah. Oh, that was a good one.
Pretty boy Kelly. So I'm pretty sure I talked to Kevin Zeitler on text, but I haven't used it anywhere because of the Hopkins thing. I actually probably pissed him off because
prove that you're Kevin Zeitler.
He responded to me, and then I said, "How do I know this is you?" And that was the end of the conversation. He was probably like, "I'm doing you a favor." I replied to what you said. And here you are then interrogating me. What do you want? DNA and fingerprints?
Tell me something only Kevin Zeitler would know.
Yeah.
Take a picture of yourself right now.
Who was your line coach in high school? Yeah. So how do you win at that if you come up with a phone number?
That's a good question.
Which I did a good job of doing. You have to have a really exotic name so that there's only like one of you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Xavier Restrepo.
Which didn't
you could
work.
probably have all kinds of conversations with him.
Which didn't work for Hopkins and might not have worked for Zeitler.
Well,
Restrepo would probably be safer, but we know there's no chance in hell he's texting me back.
He's, you never. Did he get a futures deal? What's
I
up
feel
with
like,
him? What's he going to do next year on this team?
Oh God, I shouldn't have brought him on.
Yeah, here we go. Is he going to play in the slot next year? We needed to pour one out. We never did for Arden Key going to the Colts. Now the Kuharsky's top subscriber at paulkuharsky.com.
Kuharsky. All of that. Joe never liked that I was able to make up with Arden Key, and that
I liked it. I was just
boys.
like, hi, I like Paul Kuharsky. He is a great reporter, and I enjoy him.
Blink twice if you're in need of help, Arden.
I can't help a guy's delivery. I mean,
it just didn't seem very authentic.
Listen. I talked through things.
And plus, he's
guys.
a hilarious normally. Like
he was fine. You're hamming it up. Everything's cool. We leave on good terms.
Today's date is April the 8th, 2026.
Give me a newspaper. Hey, Nick Sauce, get over here and bring me a newspaper. I loved Arden.
Taking a tour of the AFC South.
I have a file of all the action, the Titans with their billion transactions, and then players lost, Chig and Key. There's a little off balance here in terms of players gained and players lost. Yeah. Everybody's dying for the Titans guys.
I have one more segment with PK coming up next. Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. PK with us for one more segment today here on the program. PK, we talked earlier this week, some comments from The Athletic, from executives out there. I think Mike Sando put this together, that basically looked at what the Titans have done in free agency to this point, and they looked at all the familiar guys that they brought with them from the Giants and the Jets, and were like, what are they doing? Like, what's the deal with that? Critical from some executives around the league in terms of the Titans' strategy this offseason and free agency. Is that fair? How much of a talking point do you think that is around the league? Does that bother you if you're a Titans fan?
I think it should. I think they cast too narrow a net. And I talked to them about this out at the owners' meetings. Borgonzi made it sound like, listen, our board had all these guys near the top before we hired these people, and it was this grand coincidence, which, I mean, that seems like an awfully big coincidence. The top 6 guys that they spent money on, the only one that this staff didn't know well is Flott. Is Taylor. Is Taylor. And look, I understand all the benefits of familiarity. And the Titans have had some real duds that they did not know well historically. When you look at a guy who jumps to mind, like, damn it. I had him right there. Andy Levitri.
Paulie no takes.
Andy Levitri.
Can't even come up with a name.
And you had a name earlier that you can come up with when I was driving in.
Seth Russell.
You called him Seth.
Yeah.
Lloyd Cushenberry didn't pan out, right? From them not knowing him largely. Andy Levitri, Adam Humphries. And sure, you want to avoid guys like that, but they didn't know DeAndre Hopkins. They didn't know Roger Saffold. They didn't know Brian Arakpo. And those were key guys to this organization.
The film should be your
And then connections, did help them. Ben Jones, Malcolm Butler, Logan Ryan. Those are good guys. So I think you have to have a mix. And just look back to last year. Everybody wants to point to Vrabel and point to Landry and Hooper and Jack Gibbons and Robert Spillane. But the bigger difference makers there were Milton Williams and Stephon Diggs and Carlton Davis and Garrett Bradbury. And they did not know those guys. So if you have a lot of money, you can't limit yourself to 4 teams. You got to look at the whole league. Time will tell if this is the right thing for them, but it seems like they were awfully narrow, and it's hard for you to convince me that there weren't some options out there beyond their purview that could have helped them more than what they did. Look at what the Bears did last year. They spent some big money and they went outside. And look at the Jags. The Jags didn't spend big money, but they found pieces outside. Those are the 3 teams that had the kind of turnarounds you're looking for the Titans this year. And they were much more broad. You have to take some risk.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I generally agree with you. Also, I think it's funny to think about, hey, these guys coming from like all that losing to come here and win. But
they weren't single-handedly responsible for the losing.
Exactly. A lot of Tennessee Titans who did a lot of losing here who are going out and winning elsewhere.
Yeah.
Now in the NFL.
No, that's not my concern. But the scope of the
seems
a little
bit too hung up on my guys.
Yeah, and it's a huge coincidence, that the pro scouting department happened to land on all guys who happened to play for the guys you happened to hire as head coach.
I'll be honest with you,
and offensive.
That kind of sounds like a little Rand Carthoni of the. Well, we hired every single coach was our first choice, and every draft pick we made, I had a general manager around the league call me and say, "Man, darn it, we were about to take those guys." It's like, really?
Damn, you ran.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will see. It's not a bad thing to have guys come in and know your scheme, know your style, can set your culture, all of that stuff. Is it too much of that? We'll have to see how they do on the field, what the tone of the locker room is, and all of that.
That'll help be determined by like a bunch of other players who are not part of that group, or whether they're good or not. People they draft, people who develop now. Cam Ward, is he good? All of a sudden, hey, great job getting all those Jets and Giants because Cam Ward's good.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Jacob says, I only care about the opinions of executives depending on who they are. I don't care about like the Panthers or Browns or Giants executives. If that's who these executives were. Which executives are we talking about?
Maybe Sandos should we're excluding
The Jets.
Browns,
Yeah.
Jets.
Yeah, throughout the bottom 5.
Disclaimer.
They got lost in my phone.
No Browns or Jets executives were interviewed in this story.
Yeah.
That would be a great disclaimer.
It would be.
Mike is too nice to do something like that. Very nice.
he's
One of
very
the
nice.
nicest guys you'll ever meet.
He's a very nice guy.
Going back to
Friend of the show.
a Swedish dance party on YouTube says, Cheeto and Tyler Boyd, the only my guys that Callahan brought in. No, it's pitiful. All these guys coming in here. We'll see.
Is that all?
See how it goes.
Well, I mean,
you did not bring in
they
Jamar
brought
Chase.
in the Sadiq Charles. And
Oh, yeah.
Look
Didn't
how,
even make it.
Look how well that paid.
He didn't even text Bill Callahan when he left. I had no idea. Just didn't show up to work.
But that's my guy. We knew him. We didn't have to ask him any questions.
I swear, like if Atlanta goes out this year, it just has a dominant offensive line. It's like, what happened?
This is fascinating.
What the heck?
Fascinating story.
Bill Callahan just all of a sudden's got Atlanta's line just mowing people down this year.
I spent a little time, not a little time, but a few moments with Bill Callahan flying back from Indianapolis.
Oh yeah?
It's on my flight.
Did he look happy to see you?
Yes, we had a
Nice.
delightful exchange. I got along very
Hey,
well with
it's Paulie
Bill
No
Callahan.
Takes over here. Good to see you.
I like reporters with no takes.
Yeah, I had some takes on Bill, and I think the major take for Bill is to come, like you said. Has his career gone off a cliff, or did he have a 2-season burp in Tennessee? And which will Titans fans be more upset with?
Oh, I think
Well,
they'll
the
be more
two-season
upset
burp,
with
yeah,
the
two-season
two-season
burp.
burp.
Yeah, if it goes well in Atlanta, yeah, just
Like,
like
good
then you start
grief.
talking about curses.
Yeah.
You know?
And DNA, which he just
Yeah.
talked about.
Oh,
That's true.
sure. There we go.
That is true.
Why do you hate the DNA?
This texter, by the way, says, my point was he doesn't put himself out there with draft prediction of who he wants the Titans to take. He's certainly
I don't.
opinionated, but ask him who he wants the Titans to take, and he doesn't know.
Oh my God! How could a guy who's not expert on the draft not come in and act like he knows everything about the draft?
No,
and
you can
make
give an
picks?
opinion.
Well, I mean,
I
I'd
want
be
your
okay.
opinion, Paul.
I'd be okay if they took Love. My
I'd
priority
be
would
okay with, here, let me list 7 guys. I'd be okay with that.
I would like Bailey.
Milk
but
toast.
I'm
Lukewarm.
sorry that I don't pretend to be a draft expert. This city is loaded with them. Go listen to them. They somehow watch every college game and they know a guy's back pedal and how he turns his hips. Let me tell you a secret. They're full of S. I'm thinking of 1 or 2 in particular that think they're NFL scouts.
Name names.
I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. I've been covering the league for 30 years. I know exactly what I am. I know exactly what I know, and I'll tell you about it. And one of the best things about me is I know what I don't know. And there are a lot of people in town that
you know a lot.
There are a lot of people in town that would be well served to tell you what they don't know. And when they go to the owners' meetings and they say, I talk to people, and they say they're leaving it hazy because they're leaving it like they talk to people in the league. And who they talk to are people in the media. And talking to people in the media isn't informing you about draft people. Talking to people in the media is informing you about draft media.
What the hell just happened
What a
on
way
this
to
program?
What a way to close it out.
Name
Okay.
names.
Thank you for
Give me
being
a
with
name
us.
right now.
You can make some presumptions for a change and connect some dots. Don't block the box. And be sure to lock your damn locks.
Jake Lyman up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.
I'm getting freaking Hendon Hooker.